Hey guys, I'm super excited to be here tonight. It's my second ever Ignite speaking at it. My name is Chris Messina. I run developer experience at Uber. This is me in 1999. Also, I should point out that I invented the hashtag. This is me in 1999 when I was a senior in high school. I grew up in New Hampshire. I went to Manchester High School West. I built their website. I also built a website for the Gay Straight Alliance, put a banner ad in rotation, and got externally suspended and almost didn't graduate with my class. The good news is there was a bunch of civil liberties groups like the ACLU and GLAAD that filed lawsuits to make those fuckers allow the Gay Straight Alliance to exist and to allow me back in to graduate with my class. Now, I'm up here as a white guy with privilege, and it's taken me a long time to recognize and understand what that means. And it's important that all of us white guys actually take a moment to think about that, because it's not something we really talk about. The problem is, I picked up this newspaper in my hotel, and the same shit's happening today. This is AJ Jackson, who's in Vermont. He's a transgender male who's experiencing the same kind of discrimination and bullshit harassment that my peers experienced in high school because of people like this who want to encode discrimination into the legal institutions of our society. It's wrong and it's broken. Yes, take a look at that guy for a second. Look at that hate. Now, we are not immune to this problem in Silicon Valley. I wrote blog posts about this stuff back in 2006 and 2009 when the future of web apps put 14 guys on stage and said, this is what the future looks like. And I said, bullshit. So I got up on stage with the one woman that was on the panel, Christina Halverson, and we tried to bring up this topic. Turned out we made a lot of the people in the audience feel really uncomfortable, and they said so. Now, maybe that's the point, but I actually took this as an opportunity to step back and think about the language and ways of thinking about this. I got a fortune that night that told me, hey, look, there's actually an opportunity here. You could actually be part of the change and not be accusatory, but actually be inclusive. Try to find a way of talking about these issues in a way that doesn't alienate, but actually brings people together. One of the things that I've learned is that there's a lot of language that already exists in this space. What I've learned about identity diversity is that it's about who we are in our bodies, the things that we can't choose, the things that we were born with, the way that we are. And those are not things that we should be judged by or use as a selection to discriminate us. If that's a word. Anyways, we are the builders, the makers, and the creators of the next generation of products, companies, and cultures. And I believe that by being more radically inclusive, we can build better products, better companies, and better cultures. Here's what it looks like if you're a product designer who is not taking this stuff into consideration. You live in a binary world where everyone is either a guy or a gal, or you have to go through the back door. This is not an evolved way of thinking. And I think we can actually do much, much better. So for example, Facebook and Google now allow you to specify what your gender is, how you identify yourself, how you think about yourself, and how you want to show up in the world. This is a better way to do this. You can still get a good UI out of this because you can choose the pronoun that best represents you in interfaces. Recently, Unicode was evolved to include gay relationships. Can you imagine expressing yourself through emoji and your relationship style isn't captured in that mix? Where do you exist in technology if you can't even express yourself through emoji? Right? When creating companies, we should be thinking about how we can give voice to these people who have different experiences. The It Gets Better project was started because there was a bunch of people who were committing suicide, teenagers mostly, and didn't feel like there was a future for them because of all the bullying and harassment that was happening. A bunch of companies stood up and said, no guys, look, it gets better. There is a future for you. There is workplaces out there that want to hire you. There is hope, and we are here for you. I've also learned that an antidote for discrimination is vigilance and proactive inclusivity. And what that means is first to become aware of the privilege that you already have, to become open to listening actively to the experiences that other people have, and then taking action. So when I helped create Barcamp in 2005, as a product designer, I was really, really bad at this. It turned out that a lot of other people had really good ideas for how to be more inclusive in the way that they design their conferences. For one thing, you could do an anti-harassment policy. Now, coming back to the hashtag, I never thought in 2007 that putting this idea out in the world would end up actually becoming as big as it did. Now, I randomly go into bookstores and I see fucking books written about the hashtag. What this says to me is that we, the future builders and creators of the products, companies, and cultures of the world, have a huge opportunity to define what happens next. and that diversity and radical inclusion should be absolutely part of every one of our plans to do that.